Let's begin multiplying polynomials. We begin by multiplying monomials, single terms together, and basically all we do is multiply together their coefficients, negative 3 times 5, which makes negative 15, and their variable parts, x to the 4th times x to the 5th, makes x to the 9th. Notice that we are adding exponents when we are multiplying together terms that have like bases. In this second problem, we have a monomial times a binomial, and that the parentheses tell us to do distribution. That monomial out front gets multiplied by each term inside the parentheses. So 4x times 3x is equal to 12x squared, and 4x times minus 7 is equal to negative 28x. In this next problem, we have distribution again. It just looks a little bit messier because of all the variables and exponents, but we begin with the coefficients. 5 times 3 makes 15. With the a's, we have a squared times 1 more a, so that makes a to the 3rd power. B to the 3rd times b to the 7th makes b to the 10th, and c to the 4th times no more c's just leaves us with c to the 4th. We then have 5 times negative 5 making negative 25. A to the 2 plus 1 makes 3. B to the 3rd and 2nd make b to the 5th when I add exponents. C to the 4th because there are no c's in the second term. And d to the 5th will get multiplied on coming from within the parentheses. We now multiply a binomial by a binomial, and each term within the binomial gets multiplied or distributed to each term in the second binomial. So basically, the x in front will get multiplied by the first x, making x squared. Then the x gets multiplied by negative 3 to make minus 3x. Then 5 gets distributed to each term in the second parentheses. 5 times x makes plus 5x, and 5 times negative 3 makes minus 15. And then we have like terms in the middle of the expression, and those can be combined together to make x squared plus 2x minus 15, which cannot be simplified further. Now, you will be multiplying binomials by binomials quite a bit in this class, and most math teachers prefer to explain this as double distribution, but there is an acronym FOIL, F-O-I-L, which stands for first, outer, inner, and last. And it helps people to make sure when they're beginning to do this type of distribution that they don't miss any terms. The first F stands for multiplying the first thing within each parentheses, x times x, and that's what we did when we found x squared. O for outer says multiply together the two terms on the far outside, the x on the far left and the minus 3 on the far right. I for inner tells us to multiply the two numbers closest together, the 5 and the x, and L for last is 5 times negative 3, the last thing within each parentheses. It's just a fancy way of describing what I've got drawn out here with these curved lines up at the start of the problem. So if a teacher refers to foiling, they're basically referring to multiplying binomials by each other. Now let's multiply these binomials. 2x times 3x makes 6x squared. 2x times positive 5 makes positive 10x. Inner minus 3 times 3x makes minus 9x. And finally, negative 3 times positive 5 makes negative 15. These middle terms will combine together, and we have 6x squared plus x minus 15. Now, these are types of problems that you want to get very good at, because when we get to the next chapter, we will be factoring, which is going backwards from the polynomial to the parentheses or factored form. In number 6, let's do this again. 3x times 2x at the beginning. If it helps draw those arrows, do so. 6x squared. Then 3x times positive 4 makes plus 12x. Minus 5 times 2x makes negative 10x. And finally, negative 5 times positive 4 is negative 20. Combining the middle two terms together, we now have 6x squared plus 2x minus 20.